Good morning. Today the plan is to install a motion activated light sensor. The idea is when anybody comes up my driveway, I want the lights to come on and light up the way to the inside the entrance of the house. So no surprises. Here's the logical spot to install it, and I'm thinking right about here, right just on the stucco, just below the wood fascia. Although possibly on the wood fascia itself. I'm still undecided on it. And the big problem is there's no power. If you look all along here, there's no power outlets on the front. Like if there's a power outlet, let's just say right here. They have like a little 3/4 inch adapter that allow conduit, and I can run some conduit up and run the conduit over and then run it to a light. But they don't have anything like that there. On the side here, there's no power outlets either. So that's what we're going to work on today. I've got a solution for all this, and I'll show you how to do it. Here we are directly outside the bay windows where I wanted to install the light. Now you can see in the wall right here, I do have an electrical outlet. So the plan is I'm going to drill a hole through the wall to the outside, mount an outdoor enclosure out there with a GFI socket, and then run conduit to a round box for the motion sensor light. And let me show you how to do all these steps here. It's going to be easy. Hopefully it'll just be a 2-hour job. Okay, as you can see, I got the receptacle out of the box. I took a stud finder. There's a stud running right along here. So we'll keep that in mind for later. I got a 3/4 inch drill going here. And we'll just drill a hole in the back until we get to the stucco. Then I've got some masonry drill bits. Here's the outdoor electrical box. I like the metal ones. And you see I have metal tabs, so you can see I screwed on those 2 metal tabs so that we can mount it to the wall a little bit easier. Then we got a couple of anchor bolts. And then Harbor Freight came through with some really cheap masonry drill bits. So that's what we're going to use to mount this thing. I highly recommend the Chicago Tools hammer drill from Harbor Freight. Man, talk about making a hard job easy. So you got the 3 holes drilled. One for one tab, one for the other tab, and then a nice big 1/2 inch hole for the wire. We just tap in the little anchor bolts. And I cheated a little bit. I put a little liquid nails adhesive in there. You're not really supposed to need it, but you know, it can't hurt. There we go. That's nice and solid. That baby's not going anywhere, and the hole kind of lines up going into the house. Yeah. Notice I used an offset ladder. One leg's longer than the other. Anyway, the box is all installed. And man, oh man, as I was getting ready to put this up here, I had all these thoughts. I go, oh no, not here, not here. And that was my original spot where it is right now. But then I go, well, it would sure look good if it was mounted on the wood fascia right in the very middle. That would look good. Then I could just have a conduit coming over, and then underneath here I would drill a hole, like maybe about a 1 inch hole going back, and then route the conduit going back through the fascia. And then I thought, well, I could actually mount it right here where there's nothing behind the wood fascia. Just drill a hole. You can see how there's like a little hole right in here. And I could have had the wires coming up through there and then have them coming around. After I thought about it, I stuck to the original plan. You know, I bought everything in gray to match the house, and if I bought it, I should have bought it in white if I was going to put it on the fascia. But these are the kind of things that are going through your mind when you're doing these things. You know, think about it for a long time, and there's a lot of different ways to route things. And let's just figure out how I can route the conduit now. Now we can think about running the conduit. So I got like a 10-foot section of conduit. You know, it's like $1.50. We got like a number of 90 degrees. I got a couple 45 degrees. I got some male couplers. We got some Romex. And you notice I have 12 gauge. 14 gauge would have been a lot easier to work with, but I just happen to have the 12 gauge. Got a GFCI circuit breaker. You need that for anything outdoors, and a cover for it, and like I say, a 90 degree fitting there in case I needed that, and a flexible thing in case I needed that. See, the truth is I just don't know what the hell I'm going to need. So I bought a bunch of stuff, and I figure what I don't use I can always take back, and it's better to maybe have a few extra little things. And anyway, now we just have to play around with this thing, and I can find a good way to route the conduit. And then I put the wire through there, and hopefully that'll go smoothly. And we go from there. Here's a dry fit of the piping. Kind of see it coming around the side there. It'll you know, it's flopping around right now. Once I secure it, it'll be better. But now I just gotta take it apart again, put the wires in there, put the pipe cement in there, glue it all up, and then attach it to the wall. I got 2 wall attachments, and I'll be all done. I got the wire going. I just open up every one of these connections, put some PVC glue on there, and stick it back together, and in just a few seconds it'll bond. Then I'll attach it to the wall, I'll hook everything up, and we'll be done. Well, we start at the very end when we do our wiring. So we got this thing. Now this is like a cheap version. It's all made of plastic. It's pretty light. You can just hang by the wires. If you spend an extra $3 or $4 and you get the 150-degree one, it's made out of metal, weighs a lot more, and they give you a little tie or a wire tie wrap or something to where you would wire this thing up to the fixture to where it's not hanging while you're wiring it. So, but this one doesn't need it. But as you can see here, we hooked up the ground wire, twist that thing around there with a pair of long-nosed pliers, tighten it down. Left about 7/16 worth of wire, twist everything together and wrapped them up with the twist ties. And since I'm not going to wire up any extra fixtures, I didn't leave any. I didn't bother with the rest of this stuff. So that's what it looks like here. Well, there we are, all aimed and ready to go. I kind of wish I'd have gotten the 150-degree version, which cost about a few dollars more. But I bought one of those for another part of the yard. It was made out of metal and was a lot higher quality. This is all plastic, and this is the only 110-degree version. But you know, I saved a couple dollars, but I got in gray, and I was looking for gray, but I could have got the metal one in gray. But well, I don't know. It looks pretty good. The pipe looks good. Everything looks very professional. No complaints. Here's the GFI, and it's a little different than most electrical sockets. As far as the wires go, the wires slide in, and then you secure them with this screw. So you don't have to wrap them around, and there's no like one-way locking thing, which is kind of nice. And you see underneath this yellow band, those are the secondary outlets. So the primary power is going to go to these top 2 up here, and then you know, the white would go to the silver one. And anyway, I'd peel off this yellow piece, and this would be hooked up to the wires going up to the light fixture. Just want to show you again how these wire lugs work. Okay, you notice I have the wires coming in and the wires going out. I kind of wrap around a little bit. Got one hooked up to the ground here, one hooked up to the ground there. And you notice, you know, like on old style plugs, you'd make a U-hook and try to hook it around the green screw. But you don't do that. You just put it underneath this piece of metal, tighten down the green screw, and it gets clamped to the metal. And that's the way all the rest of them work. And these are really nice style wire connectors. They're easy to do and very secure, and I really like them. Okay, here we go. We got everything all wired up. You kind of like loop it up so it loops up and loops down so that it'll zigzag in when you push in the wires. And the main thing is you got to make sure that this copper wire isn't anywhere near here. Like loop that thing around to where it's in the middle and in to where it's not out so far, because you can see like if I press that in, maybe it would short. So we got to do something about that. But we're just about done here. See, I put a little shot of silicone rubber in there just so that water won't come in the back. And see how's this thing come out. Oops. Here we go. There's the thing. I got it, the thing in gray, everything in gray, matches the house gray. And you know, I really needed an electrical outlet here. You can see I had an extension cord. I had to go all the way around to the back to like the barbecue back there. So it's really nice to have an extension cord in the front of your house. So this outlet is more than just a security light. It's a really nicely needed outlet, and it's GFI, and it matches the house. Okay, here we go. We're all done out here. And I wanted to show the ties. I got a clamp here and a clamp here. And so the theory is we got this one for left-right. We got that one to go top-bottom. And now everything is just really solid here, and nothing moves around, and we can have a 200-mile-an-hour wind, and this thing's not going anywhere. Okay, now that I hooked up to the power and everything's live, the most important thing is you have to press the reset switch. And look at that, you can see the little green lights on there. So anyway, now everything's working. But for some reason on these GFCI things, after you power them up, you have to press the reset switch. And who knows why. Hey, it's still pretty light out, but let's just see whether this thing comes on. This will be the very first time it ever came on. Oh my, it came on. So I guess I got it aimed down, so it's probably talking about maybe 15, 18 feet down to this area, but came on. Seems to work pretty well. It's the very, very first time it ever came on. Woohoo, I'm excited. And like I say, it's still not even dark yet, so I'll come back later and see whether I need to re-aim the lights. But hey, success! This is what I was looking for. Now nobody's going to be driving up in front of my house without setting off a bunch of lights. And anyway, I'll add comments to this. I'll annotate the video and add comments if there's anything more to talk about.